Hi, my name is Reece Scribner, and I am the Outreach Case Manager for ECHO. I want to take a little bit to tell you about my story today. I was born and raised here in Atascadero, and my first exposure to ECHO was when I was 10 years old. I had the opportunity to volunteer here with my grandma, and I learned that ECHO is a safe place for people to have a new beginning and really just have a starting point to grow their life. Fast forward to when I was 16, I got into addiction, and I was able to graduate high school from there, but by the time I was 18, I was in my full-blown addiction, completely homeless, living in an encampment. I was very lost, and there was times where people had tried to intervene, and I did end up going to rehab, and I went to rehab again, and one more time. By the last time I went to rehab, I was just so tired, and I didn't end up making it through the program, and I came out, and that was in December of 2018, but I had left with the feeling that I'm ready to make a change. So come January 18th of 2018, I woke up and I said, today's the day. And the first place I thought of to go was ECHO. When I showed up that evening at dinner time, I was met with a case manager who told me about all the programs they had. They had shower programs, they had dinner every night, and access to case management services, because doing things like charging my phone even was a struggle. So having a place where I knew someone could help me if I needed help was amazing. But one of the most important things that I had access to during this time was the shower program. I had already signed up for the 90-day program, but I was still wanting to start my life and look for a job and go to drug and alcohol and start talking to my family again. So the shower program was really important, because when I took a shower and I got new clothing, I felt like I could be a member of society, and I felt like I had the confidence to take on these challenges. After waiting for my spot in the 90-day program, I finally got the call that they had a bed for me, and I had my stuff in a backpack, and they showed me my bed, and I set everything down, and I took a deep breath, because I knew all of the things I had to do, but when you don't have somewhere as a home base, it seems overwhelming. But in that moment when I set my stuff down, I felt like all of this is possible. I can take the next steps. I can get my life back on track. And that's exactly what I did. I got a job. I graduated drug and alcohol. And the most impactful moment for me at ECHO was being able to save money and buy my first car. I remember coming back to the shelter with my new car and showing my case manager, and she was so proud of me. And I went to bed that night, and in the morning I was getting up ready for work, and I got in my new car and I shut the door, and I just started crying, because I realized I hadn't been alone in my own space, something that I worked hard for, in over 4 years. It was such a proud moment for me, and getting to drive myself to work was amazing. And after that, I graduated drug and alcohol, like I had said, and then I found my own studio, which I moved out of ECHO into, and then I got pregnant with my daughter, and I was working at Subway. I knew I had to find a better job, and so I started working on a career, and I was able to grow within that company, and I stayed there for 4 years. And during that time, while I was working on my development there, Wendy had called me, reaching out, asking if I was interested in the case management position. And I always knew that someday I would like to give back to somewhere I came from. So when the timing was right, I reached out to Wendy, and that's how I got here today. My position here at Echo is so important, and I feel so passionate about my position here because what I get to do is meet people where they're at, whether that be in an encampment, at the park, and really removing those barriers and making the impossible